Hey guys! I just got back from a trip to Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. This park is located in the northwest corner of Wyoming, close to Yellowstone National Park. It's about, from the north portion of the Tetons going up into Yellowstone is about a half-hour drive. So if you have the time, I recommend you see both parks because they're very unique, very different from each other. There's a lot of different wildlife, a lot of different geological features, and the terrain, everything's different. So I definitely recommend seeing both of those if you get the chance. But this video is about 10 great things you can do in Grand Teton National Park. So I'm going to start by giving you a little background. So this is the park newspaper that they give you as you pass through the entrance station to get into the national park. They are celebrating their 90th anniversary this year. It's 2019. The park became a national park in 1929, and to get into the park is $20 for a single person just walking or riding a bicycle, $35 for a vehicle, and $30 for a motorcycle, I believe. But what I like to do every year is I'll buy the $80 National Park Pass, and that's the interagency pass that will allow you to have access to all of the national parks across the country except for like maybe 2. So it's definitely worth your money to get that annual pass if you think you'll be hitting more than 3 national parks that year, or if you think you'll be coming back to this park multiple times throughout the year. The purpose of this video is to give you guys 10 great things you can do in Grand Teton National Park. Now, you know there are many more things you could do in Grand Teton National Park. There aren't only 10 things to do, but I wanted to narrow it down for you guys based on my own experiences, and I also tried to mix up and give a little bit of variety in these different things. There are a lot of hikes you could do, lots of different eating options, lots of sightseeing options, so I tried to make a nice little blend of 10 great things you could do that might not be suitable for every single person, but I guarantee you, you guys will be able to at least find one of those things on that list that you can do. I really loved visiting Grand Teton National Park. It is now one of my favorite national parks after seeing it in person. It really is jaw-dropping when you see those mountains in real life. So I hope that you find this video helpful in your own planning for the national park, or if you've already visited the national park, then leave a comment below about your favorite thing that you enjoyed in the national park. So thanks for watching, and let's get to those 10 great things. Okay, real quick, as I'm going through these 10 awesome spots you can see in the Tetons, I'm also going to show you where those locations are on the park map. So this map is what you are provided when you enter the park. The Park Service gives this map to you for free. And while we're looking at this map, just remember that north is up, Jackson Lake is that giant lake there, and the park is basically like a longer park north to south. Okay, now we're ready to dive into the 10 great things you can do in Grand Teton National Park. Number 10, take some photos at Mormon Row. So Mormon Row is in the Antelope Flats area of the Grand Tetons, and it holds 2 of the most photographed barns in America, the John Moulton Barn and the T.A. Moulton Barn. The T.A. Moulton Barn is the one I just showed you here. So to get to this area of the park, you are going to head north on Highway 191. You're going to pass Moose Junction. There is a little roundabout there. Keep heading north, and then the next right is going to be for Antelope Flats. So you'll make that right, and then you'll head up, and it becomes like a dirt road kind of, and then you'll see the barns, and then you just kind of pull up. There's a little parking area, and you'll see lots of photographers taking pictures of these barns with the mountains in the background. And you might also see some painters. So I was doing a plein air study of the T.A. Moulton Barn when I was in the Tetons, so I spent about 4 hours painting the barn with the mountains in the background. Definitely take time to stop here, take pictures of these barns, and just take a good look at those mountains from this very flat area, because those mountains just really stand out against the flat terrain right in front of you. Okay, next on the list is to go swimming in String Lake. So String Lake is a more shallow lake that gets a little bit warmer than the other lakes in the summer months. If you're lucky enough to go swimming in there, if it's June, July, or August and it's getting to be 80 degrees outside, maybe you can handle the cold temperatures of the water, because that water does not get warm, I will tell you that. But it is warmer than Lee Lake or Jenny Lake. The lake is in between Lee Lake and Jenny Lake, and it's not as deep, so the water warms up a little bit more, and it's very calm. Great place to go swimming in the summer months if you have the chance to go swimming there and you're able to get into water that will make your body feel numb after a minute or two. Oh guys, this was an unexpected highlight of my trip. Leeks Marina has a pizza place where you can grab some pizza to go, sit on a picnic table outside at the marina overlooking Jackson Lake and the Tetons. Highlight of the trip. Awesome pizza, awesome views. Definitely recommend this one. So Leeks Marina is up on Jackson Lake. It's in the northern portion of the park. You're getting close to Yellowstone at this point, so if you want to come here on your way up to Yellowstone, that's a recommendation for you. But yes, pizza was deliciously amazing. Get it to go. You can sit on a picnic table right in front of the lake and sit and eat delicious pizza while looking at the mountains and the boats taking off the docks and going off into the lake. Definitely recommend. The only way you could top that is if you actually have a boat and you can get onto Jackson Lake with your pizza. Next on the list is Schwabacher Landing. You need to wake up early for this one. I'm telling you, wake up early and go there at sunrise. It is gorgeous, it's peaceful, it's not crowded, all of the animals are still out. You definitely want to go at sunrise. So this area, Schwabacher Landing, is a launch area for rafts and kayaks to get access to the Snake River. To get here, you're going to head north on 191. You're going to pass Antelope Flats on your right. Keep going north. You're going to pass a turnout for Glacier View, and then you're going to see another turnout on your left right after it called Schwabacher Landing. It's just a little wooden sign on the right side of the road with an arrow pointing Schwabacher Landing. So take that turn. You're going to go onto a gravel road downhill for a little while. It gets kind of dusty, so you might want to put the windows up. And then you'll come out to a parking area where you can walk down to this nice peaceful spot. This section of the Snake River has been dammed off by beavers, so it's very calm and it makes a perfect reflection of the mountains in the morning when it's not too windy. So you have to have good conditions for it, but gorgeous if you get there at the right time. The sun rises pretty early in the summer. The sun rose around 5:30 a.m. so I tried to get there to this spot by 6 a.m. so the sun was already a little bit up, and it was stunning. It was so peaceful. It was also very cool. I went in June and it was about 44 degrees Fahrenheit, so pack warm. If just keep an eye on the weather and make sure you're packed for that. There's also a hiking trail that goes about 2 miles out and then 2 miles back that ends up over by the Snake River. It's nice and flat, pretty easy hiking trail you can take your kids on if you're doing a family hike together. And Schwabacher Landing is also a perfect spot for viewing the wildlife. There are lots of birds that I saw in that area. I saw a muskrat and I saw a few ground squirrels as well, so nice peaceful spot to watch the sunrise on the Tetons. Number 6, Death Canyon Hike. The Death Canyon Hike is a moderately rated hike. It's just over 7 miles out and back into the Death Canyon, and it's about 2,000 feet of elevation change on your hike. It features some waterfalls, some wildlife viewing, great views of Phelps Lake, and you might even get to walk over some snow, depending on what time of year you're going. We had to walk over some snow on our hike there. But to get to this trailhead, this hike is in the south portion of the Tetons National Park. You can either go up Moose Wilson Road and then make a right-hand turn to the trailhead, or you can go up 191 and then make a left at Moose Junction and then head south to get to that Death Canyon trailhead. On this hike, you make your way upslope until you come to this nice overlook of Phelps Lake. You go downhill for a little bit, then start heading back uphill and making your way up around the slopes until you get into Death Canyon. And then when you're in Death Canyon, it gets relatively flat compared to the other portions of the hike, and you come to a patrol cabin where rangers will stay on search and rescue missions and in the winter. Once you get to that spot, you can turn back around or you can keep going. There are other signs posted for other spots you can go once you get up into the canyon. I also got to see lots of beautiful wildflowers, so that was a highlight for me. And I saw a lot of marmots. I think I counted like 10 marmots that I saw on this hike, so if it were me, I would rename this the Marmot Trailhead, or Marmot Canyon instead of the Death Canyon, because it was full of marmots. Jenny Lake is one of the most popular spots at Grand Teton National Park, and it's easy to see why. It's a beautiful lake. It has perfect reflections of the water. It's easy to see wildlife there. There are lots of amenities. A lot of this area is wheelchair accessible, and it's very peaceful. I visited Jenny Lake a few times on my trip. I went once at sunrise, and that was definitely my favorite experience just because there were no other people around. It was very, very peaceful. All I could hear were the birds chirping and the ripples of the water. It was truly peaceful. The next time I went was around noon, lunchtime, and the parking lot was completely full. You have to park on the main street and walk all the way in because it just gets so packed. This parking lot typically fills up by 10 a.m. every day. So keep that in mind when you're going there. If you want to get a nice close parking spot, get there early. If you want to avoid the big crowds, get there early. There are boat rides that go across the lake as well that can take you to Hidden Falls, which is coming up next on the list. So if you want to take a boat ride, you can. If you just want to walk around, there's a beautiful visitor center and it's all newly renovated. So it looks really nice whenever you're walking around the lake area. Next up on our list is the hike to Hidden Falls, Inspiration Point, and Cascade Canyon. This is a popular hike in Grand Teton National Park. Many people choose to take the boat ride across Jenny Lake, which removes 2 miles going out and 2 miles going back. So it in total removes 4 miles from your hike, but you do have to pay, I think it's $20 round trip for the boat ride. So you do have to pay for your boat ride, but the hike is free and you might get to see some wildlife, including one of my favorite animals, the pika.
I love you so much, pika. You're so cute.
After hiking those 2 miles around the lake, you'll come back downhill about to lake level and start to make your way away from the lake into a canyon to get to the base of Hidden Falls. After stopping over at this viewpoint of Hidden Falls, you head back towards the lake and then you make a left, go over a bridge, and start to go up slope to get to Inspiration Point. Inspiration Point has gorgeous overlook of Jenny Lake, and it's a great spot to have a snack and just relax take in everything that you've just seen on your awesome hike in Grand Tetons. This trail is also more crowded in the afternoon and late morning, and it has way fewer people in the early morning. I believe I started this hike around 6:30 a.m. So I was walking alone and I was doing a lot of clapping and a lot of noises while hiking to alert any wild animals that I was nearby. And I would see a person about every half mile or so, so that made me feel a little bit safer. But coming back from this hike, it was around 10 a.m. and I saw a person almost every 200 feet. So there's a big difference. I felt much safer hiking back because I felt way less alone, but then again, I didn't see the pikas on the way back. I didn't see any other wildlife because the people were out. But I did get to see this moose, so that was pretty cool. And believe it or not, I was at this park for almost 10 days and I did not see a single bear. I didn't see a single grizzly bear, didn't see a single black bear. I heard rangers talking about the bears, but I did not see one. Next, we have the Snake River. The Snake River flows south from Yellowstone National Park, feeds into Jackson Lake, and then continues to flow south through Jackson, and then it starts to head west into Idaho. So there's a lot of wildlife that likes to live along that river, including moose, eagles, otters, fish, birds. One specific type of bird I saw there are large pelicans were in that area too. So lots of wildlife. Great place to have a picnic, take some photos, maybe go rafting. They do have rafting excursions. I did not do those on my trip, but that is on my list for next time. For our trip, we ended up stopping at several of the different viewpoints and turnouts along the road that had overlooks of the river. We just kind of stopped and looked around to see if we could spot any wildlife. We thought we could see an otter from one of the viewpoints. He looked like he was just playing and kind of tumbling over and over, back and forth along the river. He was on the opposite side of the bend. Also saw lots of fish hanging out in the river. The water was crystal clear, but very, very cold. If you're in the Tetons, you should try to make it down to the town of Jackson, Wyoming. You might even be staying in Jackson to make your way up to the Tetons every day. So Jackson has a lot of really nice shops. They have art galleries, they have stoneworking shops, they have handmade crafts, they have jewelry. There's a lot of Western culture, Native American culture in all of the stores there. So to get to Jackson from the national park, you just head south on 191. You're going to pass the Elk Refuge, which is just like this big open wetland plain area on your left, and you're going to keep heading south and you'll come to the main street with the town square, where you'll see those antler archways and all of the restaurants, and then just kind of walk around the town. They have a local newspaper that's free for everyone, so if you go into a local art gallery or a coffee shop, they should have a copy of that free newspaper, and you can see what's going on in the town. Often they'll have live music events and different craft fairs. There's a lot to do in the town of Jackson and lots of great food, so definitely make the time to grab some food or go shop around in Jackson. And last but not least, if you're in the Tetons, try to catch as many sunsets over those mountains as you can. The sunset is going to be a different show every single night. Those clouds are going to be in different spots and it's going to put different colors in the sky, and every time you look at it, it's beautiful. The sun setting in the Tetons is just beautiful, so just pull out in one of those little turnout spots where there's a viewpoint and sit in your car, have a coffee, just watch the sunset. Alright guys, so that concludes my 10 great things you can do in Grand Teton National Park.
As I mentioned before, there's a lot more you could do there. I'm going to link some more fun stuff for you in the description below this video. So make sure you check that out and have a great day. Enjoy your trip if you're going to the Tetons, and if you already went, then thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Take care. Bye-bye.